It began with a letter slipped under my door, stamped in bold red, a fine from the HOA. The reason? My small garden of roses and herbs was labeled unauthorized landscaping. I stared at the paper in disbelief. That garden had been my pride, a calm place after long days. Yet, the HOA claimed it broke community uniformity rules. As neighbors passed with identical bland lawns, I realized this wasn't about plants. It was about control. That fine wasn't the end, it was the spark. And in my mind, I already knew my response wouldn't be ordinary. Anger turned into inspiration. If the HOA wanted uniform, I would give them anything, but I researched landscaping rules, combing through every page of their bylaws. To my surprise, there was no limit on plant types, sizes, or density. Only restrictions on fences and permanent structures. That loophole was all I needed. Instead of removing my flowers, I would expand them. Not just roses and herbs, but vines, palms, towering ferns, and exotic blooms. My plan was outrageous, to transform my neat little garden into a wild jungle. The HOA had given me the challenge, and I would accept. The following weeks, deliveries arrived at my door. Bags of soil, towering pots, rare seeds, and fast-growing plants. My neighbors whispered, curious and amused, while HOA board members drove by slowly, suspicion in their eyes. I dug deep into the earth, layering my yard with greenery. First came the vines, winding along trellises. Then bamboo, sprouting fast and tall. Bright flowers bloomed in every corner, while fruit trees lined the path. What was once a simple garden now looked like the entrance to a rainforest. I smiled to myself, knowing each leaf was legal and every fine-proof detail was intentional. By summer, my yard no longer resembled any suburban lawn. Towering palms swayed overhead, ferns spilled across the ground, and colorful orchids hung from branches. Birds, butterflies, and bees flocked to the paradise I had created. It wasn't just a garden, it was an ecosystem. Neighbors loved it, snapping photos and bringing their children to see the mini jungle. But the HOA board was furious. They patrolled the street, searching for violations. Yet every plant was allowed. Every placement was by the book. Their frustration grew daily, while my jungle grew taller, louder, and wilder. The balance of power was shifting at last. The HOA summoned me to a board meeting. They accused me of disrupting community harmony, waiving my original fine as proof of wrongdoing. But I came prepared, holding their own bylaws in hand. I pointed to each clause, showing how every plant, every vine, every tree was fully compliant. The board's faces flushed red as neighbors in attendance began to laugh. They realized the HOA had no authority here. What began as an attempt to punish me had turned into a spectacle exposing their weakness. My jungle wasn't just legal. It had become untouchable. After the confrontation, the HOA backed down. They couldn't find me, couldn't tow, couldn't touch a single leaf. My unauthorized landscaping had become the crown jewel of the neighborhood. Families walked by daily, admiring the greenery and shade, while the once powerful HOA board avoided eye contact. Their control had crumbled, undone by their own rules. My yard thrived, a wild, beautiful reminder that creativity and persistence can outgrow even the strictest authority. What began as a punishment ended in triumph. The HOA tried to uproot me, but instead I rooted deeper and turned their rules into my jungle.